Welcome to Jackie's Craft Table. Hello and welcome to my blog and YouTube channel. I'm starting out with a mini haul today. Recently, I visited the Gina K store in Greendale, Wisconsin for the first time, and I wanted to show you a few of the products I picked up there. The day I visited, she had tables out for free card making, and this is the card I created there. It was a lot of fun. Her store is just beautiful, and I felt like a kid in a candy store. One of the reasons I wanted to visit her store was so that I could pick out some cardstocks. I heard that her cardstocks are just fabulous, and having since played with them, I can tell you that they are really fabulous. This is called Blue Lagoon, and she has matching inks for all of her beautiful cardstocks. This one is called Moonlit Fog, and it's just a beautiful soft gray. And then this one is called Red Velvet, and I needed a good red cardstock for Christmas, and it's perfect also for Valentine's Day. This next one is called Dusty Rose, and I never can resist a pink cardstock, so I always have to pick up at least one. And then this gorgeous cardstock is Metallic Silver, and it just has the most beautiful sheen to it. I had to pick this one up. I've used this cardstock already for some of my cards, and it is just a nice heavyweight cardstock, and I really love it. I want to go back for more. I also picked up some Nuvo Crystal Glaze, and this is similar to Glossy Accents, but I just wanted to give this a try. She had a beautiful selection of enameled dots, and I can't resist enameled dots, and these are just pretty white sparkly ones, so I got those. This little stamp set was free with purchase, and it's called A Happy Hello. I just love the flowers in it. I've already played with this one, but I'm going to make a card video using this sometime soon. This is the stamp set that I'm using in today's card video, and it's called Sophie Pig. I'm using it to make a Valentine video today. The sentiments in it are such that you could use it for a lot of different occasions. Birthday, or get well, or just pig cuss, as one of the sentiments says. This next one is called Sweet Thing, and it's another very versatile stamp set. It has a lot of sentiments included with it. I have a lot of plans for this stamp set. I've already stamped out the larger cupcake and colored it in with different mediums. It was a lot of fun. And lastly, I picked up this Tim Holtz stencil. It's called Tiles, and I just love the wonky look of it. So I had a lot of fun visiting Gina K's store that day, and my sister was with me. She was visiting from out of town, and it was just a fun little road trip to take. I live in Illinois, but even so, it was only about an hour away. So I will definitely be returning there, hopefully in the very near future. I filmed this video back when I still had my old blue work mat, so that's why you're seeing that again. Now on to my card. I have these beautiful dies from Lawn Fawn. They recently came out, and when I saw the cute little lace on the hearts, I had to have it for my collection. I really love heart dies. I'm going to stamp the little pig onto this heart. This cardstock is 80-pound Nina Solar White. I have a new black ink that I'm trying out today, and it's called Extreme Black. It's not intense black, but it's extreme black. I love MFT's products, so I had to pick this up. It's new for them. The ink that I usually use is called Intense Black Ink, and it's from Simon Says Stamp. This is a hybrid ink, and it's supposed to be good for Copic Coloring, which is what I'm going to be doing today. I'll let you know what I think of this new ink once I've had a chance to play with it a little bit more. I'm creating a little mask for the pig. I'm going to be using some other stamps, but I want him to be in the forefront. This is just a little scrap piece of Inkadikado masking paper. I still prefer the sticky note paper, so I'm going to have to get some of that. This paper hasn't been sticking very well for me lately. Now I can stamp out the little puddle that he's sitting in. I'm going to pick that stamp up with the door of my Misty. Before I ink that up, I'm going to put some paper down to cover up the lace on my heart because I don't want to get any ink on that. I'm also putting some tape onto the stamp, just the places that I don't want to ink up. And then after I ink it, I just pull off the tape and it's ready to go. I'm stamping my images twice. I just like to have a good dark and crisp impression. Next, I'm stamping the little umbrella over the pig. I just love the images in this cute stamp set. I pulled out my pad of worn lipstick, Distress Oxide ink. This is another piece of 80-pound Nina Solar white cardstock. I'm going to put my heart on this panel, and so I'm just starting in the middle because the middle doesn't matter what it's going to look like because it's going to be covered up, but I just want a pink haze around the heart. This will give a little bit of division between the two white cardstocks that I'm using. I wanted some white space showing at the very edge of this panel, so I'm trying to be careful not to go out too far with the ink. And this is what it will look like. Now for my Copic Coloring. I wasn't sure which colors to use on this little pig, and so I played with all of the colors I had that I thought would work, and I came up with this combo. I'm starting with my E00 for my lightest color, and then I'm going in for the shadows with my R00. For the darkest shadows, I'm using R11, and I just go back and forth between these three colors. Later, I do come in with an R22 just to add a little bit more dark contrast to it. I have a little book of my color combinations that I come up with that I like, so I can keep it for future reference. I'm using some 80-pound cardstock because they say that it blends better with a thinner cardstock. I usually use the 110-pound cardstock just because it seems to help me keep the colors in the lines and prevent bleeding. But I'm going to give the 80-pound a go today. I'm going to put on some music for a minute and let you watch the rest of my coloring. Now for some fun little detailing on my images. I'm pulling out my white Jelly Roll pen as well as a pink and a red one. I'm adding some highlights to the little mud puddle. I'm adding pink and red dots to the umbrella. They don't show up very well for the camera, but in person they look cute. I'm also adding a little heart on the edge of this mud puddle. I'm also adding some white dots to brighten it up a little more. On my mud puddle, the line on the right got a little bit too thick. I was trying to keep the lines pretty thin. So after the ink dried, I went in with a craft knife and just kind of scraped some of it off, and it really worked well. And then I went over it with more brown Copic markers. That little hand you saw a second ago belongs to my daughter Ella. She just wanted to say hi. Now for the Nuvo Crystal Glaze, I'm going to apply that on the umbrella as well as to the little mud puddle. Before I add this product onto my project, I always like to dab it onto a piece of scrap paper just to make sure it's going to flow for me. And this product is really nice. It works a lot like glossy accents. In fact, I couldn't tell a difference between the two of them. It does take a while to dry, I try to always remember to put it in a place where you're not going to set something else on top of it or where little hands aren't going to be picking it up and touching it. So I like to start around the perimeter of my image and then move inward from there. This product looks kind of opaque going on, but once it dries, it's clear. It really adds some cute interest to the card. I'm cutting down a piece of Gina K's red velvet cardstock for my card base. It's going to be a top folding card. I decided I wanted to trim off the faux stitching around this panel. I wanted it to be a little smaller than my red card base so that you could see some of the red along the edges. I'm using my tape runner to adhere this to the card base. I wanted to add some dimension to my heart, so I'm using some fun foam. And I'm going to use the same die and run that through my Sizzix Big Shot machine. And it just cuts beautifully. And then I'm just going to go around the edges because I don't want this fun foam showing. So I'm going to cut a little bit off. And I'm going to add a lot of score tape just to keep this in place. Score tape is a really strong adhesive. After I pull off the release tape, I'm just going to add that right onto the back of my heart. With fun foam, I do like to use the score tape just because I don't trust the tape runner. I don't know if that's strong enough to hold the foam in place. I'll pull off the release tape on the other side of my heart, and then I'm going to put that right onto the card. I'm going to heat emboss the sentiment onto a strip of the red velvet cardstock. I'm putting down some anti-static powder to keep the embossing powder from sticking where I don't want it to be. And then I can go ahead and stamp it up with some Versamark ink and stamp it down onto the cardstock. I'm just going to be using some white embossing powder for that. I heat up my heat tool for a good minute, and then I bring it to the project and it melts just beautifully. Then I can funnel the rest of this powder back into my little bottle. This powder seems to last a very long time. I want to cut this into a banner. I cut a slit down the center. Then I can cut the corners up to my slit. It just makes a perfect little banner. Now I can cut off the excess, and I'm going to use my tape runner just to adhere that to the heart. I have some pretty heart rhinestones, and I'm just using my jewel picker to place them and adhere them to the front of my card. This just adds more interest and shine to the card, and it makes it more Valentine looking. These rhinestones already have adhesive on the back, so I'm pulling off the release paper and just gluing those right on. I love making Valentine's Day cards. I think I might like creating them even more than Christmas cards. Let me know in the comments below what your favorite holiday to create cards for is. I would love to hear that. Thank you so much for joining me today. I hope you're all having a wonderful week and finding some time to create cards of your own. I'm trying to turn this card so that you can see the crystal glaze on it. And then I remember that I forgot to put little rosy cheeks on my pig. I wanted them to be very bright. Please like this video and subscribe to my YouTube channel. You can also click on the bell if you'd like to be notified when I publish a new video. And don't forget to share this video on your favorite social media. I will see you all in my next card video. Bye!